So over the past 3 years or so, we've seen battle passes become the standard in the monetization of online video games. And a lot of people have applauded this change, saying that it's such a pro-consumer thing because you're not forced to buy the battle pass compared to loot boxes where you have pay-to-win mechanics, or even going way back to the 7th gen where you had a lot of map packs, a lot of DLC, season passes in every game. You don't feel compelled at all to buy a battle pass whatsoever because it's all cosmetic. None of the stuff that's in the battle pass actually affects gameplay. It's all cosmetic shit. Emotes, skins, sprays, whatever you can think of that does not have any effect on the gameplay at all. It's just how your character looks, but it's not actually weapons, nothing that actually gives you an advantage in the multiplayer game. The only thing that is offered in battle passes that might give players an advantage is the double XP, but that's not really a huge deal, really. So as far as like the actual pay-to-win dynamic, that thing does not really exist with the current battle pass system, so a lot of people applaud it because pay-to-win microtransactions were fucking terrible, and I don't think anybody misses that shit. So people are really happy with the battle passes because it's no longer pay-to-win. Now it's pay to grind, because that's essentially what a battle pass is, and that's where I'm kind of like not understanding the entire appeal of it. Okay, like I get it, people want their skins to look cool, people want their emotes and everything, but I don't understand why anyone would drop $10, $15 on these battle passes. They're pretty useless to me, but in a way that's a good thing because I'm not compelled to put extra money into a game, but there are people that do buy the battle passes, so it's a way for publishers to monetize the game without getting too predatory. But there are a few drawbacks to the battle pass system that I do want to address in this video. The big thing is the whole time limited aspect of the battle pass, meaning that you can spend money on the battle pass and still not be able to get all the content that is within the battle pass. So you can buy the battle pass for $10 and you can try to work your way up to get everything, but you're not guaranteed to get everything, because if you don't finish the battle pass, if you don't get to tier 100 within a 2 to 3 month time frame, you lose the opportunity to ever unlock those items ever again, even though it's technically content that you paid for. And that's something I have a bit of an issue with. So no one's gonna argue that battle passes are nearly as bad as the pay-to-win loot boxes that we've had in games like Call of Duty Black Ops 3, for example, where you had actual weapons that were in microtransactions and it was loot box system, so it was pretty much gambling. No one's gonna argue that battle passes are as bad as that system. I don't think anybody is gonna miss the loot boxes. But just because battle passes may be a better system of monetization doesn't mean that it's the most ideal for the consumer, because of the one thing I was talking about with the idea of paying for content, but you're not actually paying for it, you're paying for a chance to get all the content. And the problem is, it's not even like it's just an easy thing to get to tier 100. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of grind, so you're paying to grind a game. And with games like Fortnite, that is very appealing because there is no built-in progression system in the game. The only way you can actually make any progression and unlock anything is through the battle pass. But to actually make that progression, to actually complete the battle pass, you're gonna have to make a serious time commitment to the game, because it's just going to take a lot of time to grind out that battle pass, and they do that on purpose. They make sure it's a long time so the season lasts as long as it lasts and people are still playing the game. But if you are someone that works a full-time job, goes to school, or has a social life and a family, you can't have all of those things and be able to complete a battle pass. And that's not me trying to be insulting or condescending to people that play video games a lot, but it's just the truth that if you have a lot of things going on in your life, you can't make that time commitment. So it's really not fair. You can't say it's a really fair system to pay for content, but you're not actually paying for everything. You're paying for a chance to get it. And, you know, progression's not a bad thing. Having to earn unlockable items is not inherently a bad thing, even if it's in the form of DLC. It's still not a terrible thing. But when you say that it's time limited and you have a certain amount of time to do it, and if you don't complete within a certain time, you're basically fucked, that's a bit of an issue. So I think, honestly, I think the most ideal form of monetization, if they have to monetize their game, these publishers, even though they already took the $60 or now the $70 from us, they want even more money to monetize. If they still want to monetize the game, there's a better system, and it's a system that we've had for a little while back in the day, but has kind of gone away. And I'm talking about the micro DLC. So they're microtransactions, but they're actual DLC that you pay for. And let's say they cost $1, $2, $3. So think of skins, think of camos for your weapons. Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2, I'm talking about how that system worked, where you could just pay for what you wanted, and that was simple as that. $2 for the camo, you put the $2 down, and you have it. And that's not necessarily a terrible thing, because there's so many different camos, and you still have camos that you can unlock through regular progression. It's just extra shit that if you want to make your weapon look cool, if you really want the camo, if you really want, you know, all that cool cosmetic shit, you can pay individual prices for it. And that's back when you had dollar prices for these items. You didn't have these in-game currencies. Now it costs, you know, there are some games that have that type of system, but you have to buy it in gold. And what they do a lot of the time is, like, let's say an item costs 400 gold. Well, guess what? If you want any gold, the minimum amount is like 500. So you have to put extra money into it than what the item actually costs with the in-game currency. It's a nice little trick that they do. Bethesda with their item shop, that's something they love to do. But there are a lot of games like Paladins that have that system in place and a battle pass. So it's kind of like a little bit overkill, like they're going a little bit too crazy with the monetization, but it's still, like I said, it's not the end of the world, but you can't say that it's like the most pro-consumer thing that you could possibly imagine. I think what they had in Black Ops 2 and other games was probably the best monetization system, where you essentially got what you paid for. There was no tricks, there was no gimmicks, there was no in-game currency, there's no battle pass where you have to be forced to complete with a certain amount of time to unlock it, so you're paying for a chance to get shit. No, you actually get what you fucking pay for. So while I would concur that the current battle pass system that we're seeing in more and more games is much better for the consumer than the pay-to-win loot boxes that we've had for so long, at the same time, I would also argue that battle passes are bad for gaming. Because essentially what you're doing with these battle passes is that you're creating this culture of grind, where, yeah, like I said, loot boxes are pay to win, battle passes are pay to grind. You're paying so you can grind out a game over and over again, doing these meaningless challenges just to complete the challenges for the battle pass, but you're just repeating the game and you're playing the game over and over again, and you won't stop playing just so you're able to complete the battle pass. And that's the only purpose of you playing the game. You're not choosing to play the game because you still have fun doing it. You're doing it because you just want to do the grinds. And I think the idea of grinding a video game out, something that's supposed to be fun, grinding it like a full-time job, because that's the amount of time you have to commit to complete a battle pass. I think it's definitely not good for gaming, because it means that people have less variety in the types of games they play. You cannot play more than one game and complete a battle pass. It's just impossible. So you really have to commit all your time to one specific title, to one specific game, whether it be Fortnite, Apex, or whatever other game out there has a battle pass system. It's a big commitment. It's a big grind. And as a result, people are dedicating way too much time to one single video game as opposed to playing a wide variety of games at the same time, which I don't think is a good thing for video games in general. The idea of people dedicating so much time to one game in particular. Like, okay, maybe that's not a bad thing if you really love that game so much and you're playing it because you still find yourself so immersed with the game and you just can't put the fucking controller down because you're so addicted to it. That's not necessarily a bad thing if one video game gives you so much joy that you keep playing it. I had that experience with Fallout 4. I played nothing but Fallout 4 for almost a full year. So I understand the idea of loving one game so much that you keep playing it. But I feel like these days people are playing these games for the wrong reasons. They're not playing it because they love it. They're playing it to grind out challenges, to grind out the battle pass, and grind. They're pretty much playing a game as they would grind in a full-time job. And I really don't think that's a healthy way to play video games, because you're essentially playing a game for the wrong reason. The whole point of a video game is a nice, fun diversion from the real world, from reality. But when you're treating a game like a job, like a thing that you would do in a real life, just grind it repeatedly, and just do it over and over again just to earn something. In the case of a job, it's to earn money. In the case of battle passes, it's to earn skins and emotes and useless shit. I do not understand the entire appeal of battle passes. I don't understand the appeal of grinding any video game at all. Even like before battle passes, you had a lot of games like Destiny 1 where you just had to grind nonstop in order to get the currency in the game that you could use to unlock items. I get it, you want to get the items, but all those hours, all that time that you spend getting to that point, is it really worth it? You may feel good once you get that item, but is all that time that you spend before in order to get those items, is it really worth the time? And unfortunately, battle passes are propelling this grind culture in video games, and it's making the entire problem worse. It's making video games lose its meaning. Video games are supposed to be a fun thing that people do because they enjoy doing it, because they actually enjoy the experience, not because they're somewhat enticed or they're coerced into doing it, whether it's through a challenge or a battle pass or whatever. The entire meaning of gaming is lost when the only point of playing is just to grind it out. But I've said my piece. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know in the comments down below what your experience is with battle passes and just grinding video games in general. If that's something you actually have fun doing, if it's something that you genuinely feel is well worth your time. Because it's still something that I do not understand. I don't understand why people are so willing to give away so much of their free time and their money to grind out a game as if it were a full-time job. You can get a full-time job and grind and earn money. Yeah, that would be a great thing. But yeah, I don't understand why this is such a huge thing, why battle passes are huge in the first place. It's something I just don't get. And I genuinely believe that this battle pass system is, in the way that they propel this grind culture in video games, I think battle passes are a terrible thing for video games as a medium, as a hobby, as something that you do to have fun. Grinding is just not fun. You're stressed the fuck out because you know you have to complete the battle pass within a certain time frame, and if you don't, you essentially lost all your money that you put into it. So you're playing a video game for the wrong reasons. So yeah, fuck battle passes. I do understand why they're implemented from a business perspective. It's actually really smart business because it keeps people playing, keeps people invested into your game, and they're going to put more time and more money into the game as a result. But from an actual gamer, for someone that plays a video game as a hobby, I think it's awful. Let me know what you guys think.